Hi, I'm Dr. Matthew Norton of People Plus Purpose, and this is the Truth Behind Dentistry podcast. And today, my guest is Kayvan Mott. Kayvan is a dental marketing expert specializing in the strategy and implementation of online marketing that builds trust and increases new patient appointments. With over 16 years of experience, his goal is to simplify social media and online marketing for the entire dental team. Welcome to the podcast, Kayvan.
Glad to be here, Matthew. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. We've already been having fun before I pressed go on this. So let's continue
Let's
that
do it.
enjoyable experience. And first of all, what I would like to know a little bit more of is kind of a little bit of the story of how you got started in the dental industry in the first place, because in the marketing world, that's not intrinsically dental, of course. But also then maybe you can lead into what is it that you feel you most uniquely provide? You know,
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Kayvan Mott. I'm a co-founder of the DocSites. We serve dentists and have been serving dentists for 16 years, 1-6. And what we do is we help increase your online visibility. So you could attract not just any patient, but the right type of patient. And we do that through website and SEO and Google marketing. How I got my start, Matthew, in dentistry was about 16 years ago, 2008. Not the best economy, if you remember. Uh,
yes.
I had a good idea of starting a business at that time with my business partner. And at the time, when we opened up shop, we just wanted to keep the doors open. So we were doing websites and marketing for anyone. You sold cupcakes, we'll make you a website. You're a dentist, we'll make you a website. It just so happened our very first client was a dentist, a startup dentist. And I'll never forget, it was a hot summer night. We were at Starbucks, cold, super cold on the inside. This dentist, Dr. Tran, comes up to us, hands me and my business partner a white envelope and says, I'm going to Las Vegas. No one knows who I am. I have 4 empty walls. Do whatever it is you marketing guys do. Okay, we'll do it. Took the money and we did. We built him a website. We did SEO. He literally was not known in the community. So his problem was, how do I fill my chairs?
Mm-hmm.
He was a great clinician. He turned out to be an amazing operator. That's where we helped fill his chairs. And long story short, he started growing to multiple locations. His wife happened to be an orthodontist.
Mm.
So he's like, hey, you got to use these guys. They're great. One thing about dentists, they all know each other, I've realized. And so before we knew it, we started getting dentists to refer to us. Hey, I want help with my website, my marketing. I want to get more visible. And about 7 years ago, we created DocSites to basically take everything we know about helping dentists get more visible online and make it more affordable. Because at the time, we were more of a boutique agency charging $15,000, $20,000 websites. Not every dentist can afford that. Not every practice can afford that. So we made the DocSites about 7 years ago. And yeah, we've been on this fun journey in the dental industry ever since.
So you kind of are you trying to kind of create a blend of having something be affordable, be effective, be affordable, and is that but with a customized flair that captures the individual people? Because there's a lot of people, right, who are doing websites, and I know that's not you. And so I'm always wanting to try to draw out like why you, uh, why Kayvon and DocSites, if you had one more thing to say about that.
So what dentists care about is actually, we realized 3 things when it comes to working with DocSites. One is the affordability. So our websites are ranging from 1,500 to 3,500. A lot of people realizing, wait, this other company is charging $20,000 for a nice fancy looking site for a couple $1,000. I could get something pretty nice. So I think people like the affordability of that. Our pricing is pretty low. It's starting at $79 a month, and there's no contract. So people love that. The second is the transparency. I have a lot of dentists who come to me and they say, I don't know what I'm paying. I don't know what I'm getting, honestly, with my other marketing company. So they like the fact that if they go to our website, they can see the pricing. even in our sales process, like I tell people like the number one role of our salespeople is not to sell, is to educate the dentist. Because if there's transparency there and they know what they're getting, usually most people will make a better decision. And then the third and biggest thing is our customer service. Just we're really known for our customer service, and that's something we pride ourselves. There's real people picking up the phone here. You know, if you look at our Google reviews, the number one things that it says about it is the word literally responsive.
Mm.
I think that's fascinating because I believe your brand is not what you think it is. Your brand is just your reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've really built a reputation for a company that's responsive, great service, and do what they say, which I think is what the dentists and people value more than, yeah, we're getting them new patients. Yeah, we're getting you more visibility. Yeah, you have a great online presence, but so what? So is everyone else. And those underlines, I think I've come to find out, and
Yes.
I'm still finding out that that's what people value.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that speaks to trust, right? Can you
Yeah,
trust? I think the more options that there are available in the world these days, and the more exposure that we have to things, trying to discern my best choice for something and who to work with. Do I have a sense of how quickly do I get to a sense of trust with them? And then do we maintain that? If that can be maintained, I don't think people ever leave. Like, why would you leave whoever you're working with unless the need goes away?
right.
But for all the things where a need doesn't completely just get solved, go away forever, which is, I don't think, most things, then who are you going to continue to work with? The people that have proved themselves, you know, to care and that you can trust them. So I think that's all the things you're saying, I think kind of speak to that to me as I hear you.
You're right. And it transfers so much to the dental practice because we've come to realize that in order to attract not just any patient, but the quality patient, it takes two things overlapping. One is to build trust, and the other is to be seen.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And it really needs those both parts for a patient to feel comfortable and say, hey, I want to pick you as my dentist.
Right.
I want to come there. And so it's really interesting that you see that because we see that as well as marketing. It's not, we're not doing things just to do them. We're doing them to build trust and get the dentist more seen.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So looking at the kind of the current climate, or of marketing in dentistry, and then looking out ahead, what are some of the trends that you see? What are some of the directions that are going to be important?
So the first trend I see that is really important is that people are not happy with insurance.
Mm.
Practices are getting, they're just getting paid less for doing more work. And no one likes that. So I'm seeing a lot of people going out of network. A lot of practices going fee for service. They're getting off the insurance list. And so what that does though is they can't operate the same way because they're no longer on an insurance list.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the practice realizes, hey, I don't want to be this type of practice anymore. I want to start going from point A to point B. How do I do that? And what becomes even more important, it was always important, is the customer service. Is your staff trained now, right, to give that patient a great experience? From the way you pick up the phone to how they convert, do they say yes to treatment plans? Do you ask them for a review at the end? All those parts are really important so that internal marketing starts to work because you're coming off insurance. So I see that dentists are more curious now. Well, how do I get off this insurance list? How do I attract more patients? How do I not wait for Delta Dental to send me patients? Because I don't want to. I'd rather spend that money elsewhere, on my own marketing to attract my patients. So that's been a big trend that I see. Another big one is video. The power of video. I was just reading a stat that said website visitors are 80% more likely to be converted, which is just a fancy way of saying they come website visitor to actually a patient in your chair, 80% more if they actually see video reviews and video testimonials. So the practices who are taking advantage of that, they have video testimonials, reviews, that works really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not doing this, I would highly recommend pick someone in your office tomorrow and say, hey, we want to start getting more video testimonials. You know, who can be the person? Make a system around it, because if you start showing more video testimonials, you know, we say an image is worth 1,000 words. What's a video worth?
Right.
A million, 10 million, right? If
Yeah.
they can see that person say, wow, this dentist is awesome and is amazing, and I love going to Dr. Norton and he's great, they're more likely to build trust. Again, going back to building trust. So those are two things and two areas that I see. And a third one is just tried and true, focusing on where the patients are, which is Google. I've realized that Google is the gateway to new patients. And sometimes we as business owners, as practice owners, as managers think we have to do everything, right? I have to do all 100 things. I have to dance on TikTok. I have to go on Instagram Live, right? I got to send mailers, and that's not always the case. I've seen firsthand a lot of practices be really successful, get their production up, get their profitability up, retain their staff, and they're not on Instagram. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they're not on TikTok. But most typically, what those practices that are doing well and they're attracting quality patients have in common is they have great reviews on Google and they're being seen on Google. So that's a trend that I see that's actually hasn't changed in the last 10, 15 years, which I think is an important thing to note. You know, it's sort of like I don't know if you've ever, Matthew, seen this Jeff Bezos article where they ask him like, "Hey, you just bought Amazon when he did it, or bought Whole Foods. What do you think is going to change in the next 10 years?" And he thinks about it, and he tells the reporter, "You know what's a smarter question you should ask me that you didn't? What's not going to change in 10 years?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Wow, what a smart way of looking at it." So sometimes with trends, right, we're trying to find the next trend.
Right.
Consider asking what's not going to change in the next 10 years. Patients probably want good communication.
Right.
Patients probably still want service. They want transparency. And focus your efforts on what's not going to change that you could serve instead of what's going to change.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's good. And for Whole Foods, yeah, people are still going to want healthy food, and they're probably going to want more healthy food as time goes on, as it gets more scarce, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah, I like that. So for everybody who's then saying yes to those things that you've shared so far, what's another insight you might share as far as online presence and maybe expanding that further, and then even as it relates to Google reviews or placement, maybe.
Yeah. So a couple insights. One, most people already know, hey, the more reviews I get, the better. But I want to double down on that and let you know there's strategies to actually do this, because a lot of are like, we kind of do it, we kind of don't. So I found this strategy when I was at the California Dental Association, the CDA show. So we're seeing dentists coming by, dentist comes by who ends up working with us. But when I'm looking up his presence, I notice he has a lot of reviews, close to 400 reviews. I'm like, Doc, like, how do you get these reviews? And he looks at me and says, I pay my staff. And I joke and I'm like, oh, that's funny. And he was serious. He's like, no, I pay my staff. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I tell them for every 15 five-star reviews, each of you are getting $100 cash.
Mm,
I'm like, so what happens? Like, are different people getting different reviews? He's like, no, it's a team goal, and I don't play around. As soon as they get the 15 reviews, I have $100 like printed from the bank. It's clean. I give it to him right away. I don't wait. I'm like, so what happens? He's like, the front office picks up the phone a little nicer, a little faster. The back office hurries up. They all ask in reviews, and I'm like, do you have to manage them? He's like, no, they manage themselves. I'm like, so what happens? He's like, they all want the money, so they give better service and they ask for the reviews. So that's one thing that if you're looking for something you can implement tomorrow, consider that to start doubling your reviews. The second thing is your Google My Business profile. A lot of people don't know, Matthew, but you can actually update it just like you would Facebook or Instagram. So go in there and consider weekly updating it, because the more visible that Google profile is, the more you're seen in that local community. And then the third part of getting visible is what you're actually doing on your website. Your website is what's the thing that's ranked on Google. And so every now and then, I think it's good to look at your marketing company and say, hey, what am I paying and what am I getting? Kind of like a diagnosis.
Right. Yeah.
Before you start doing things, it's pretty good idea to go to a trusted professional to get that diagnosis, because then you start realizing, oh, I'm out of alignment here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually paying for this, but I'm not getting this, right? And I think sometimes what happens, the biggest mistake I see that us business owners, practices, dentists make is we have a set it and forget it mentality.
Yes, I was just thinking that. Yeah.
And listen, we all have good intentions. We all care. It happens, right? We were just talking about this off air. We sort of get cemented in what's comfortable.
Right.
And that's actually one of the things I see that's costing most dentists a lot of money. It's it's not the DSO down the street. It's the comfort that you have that has you being okay with where you're at,
Right.
right?
Yeah, that's good. That's that. And I was thinking that about specifically websites, that's one of those things that even though humans may in general tend towards set it and forget it, but websites are one of those things that I think historically anyway, to where people have felt like that was an ordeal getting that created, assembled, and all the content for the different pages and this and that. Uh, and it's done. and but the world changes. Even if your website didn't change, and the way people are behaving and what they're looking for and what the current state of technology, right? I mean, so looking back at it with a fresher pair of eyes, not that there was anything even wrong with it, but could it be better now? I think is a good question to ask. Does that make sense? That's part of the new diagnosis. How is it matching up to what's
Yeah.
possible now?
Yeah. And it's like, you might have every few years done a little touch up or paint to the office. You might have added a technology that you didn't have 3 to 5 years ago. You're constantly improving your office. Your website, I believe, is not a cost. It's your first impression online. So it takes effort and attention to keep it going. It's sort of when you were talking about, getting it, setting it, forget it. I got married a year ago, last year. And you can think of marriage like that. And a lot of people think like that.
People do.
Oh, it's the finish line,
Right.
right? Like I got married. But honestly, if you look at it, how I look at it, it's the start line,
Yeah.
right? So
51st dates.
51st dates.
Well,
Uh,
maybe not exactly, but
the concept you're getting at is exactly right. It's like any relationship, whether it's online or offline, I believe, as long as you tend to it and you water it, it's going to do well. If you don't, and you don't tend to it, and it stagnates, it's not going to do well. Your online presence is the same way.
yeah, I like that. I like just the thought of that online presence being thinking of it more relationally, because that doesn't it often I think doesn't always feel like that's a relationship thing, but it's exactly what it is. But for those people who would be thinking, I was a little bit of a hard left turn, well, my website versus my marriage, probably less of a hard left turn than you would imagine. This has been interesting as well as enjoyable, Kayvan. And I'm certain there's people who have grabbed at least one or two great new insights, tips to how to move forward. But for those who want more, and say that was not enough, Kayvan, then what would you have them do to connect with you and to learn more about DocSites?
Yeah, so if you'd like to connect with me, I'm on Instagram. It's Kayvan Mott, Kayvanmott. My company is also DocSites.com. If you'd like to go on there, request one of these complimentary diagnosis. It's a free marketing strategy session that I would do. Just let me know so that I can filter it up that you heard about us through this podcast. And yeah, I'm always available. And those two ways are a great way to get in touch.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate your time. Appreciate all you shared today. I like your approach, and I think you have a lot to offer. So thank you for being a guest today.
Thank you, Matthew. Be well, everyone. Thank you.
So for everyone, this is Matthew Norton with People Plus Purpose. I've been with Kayvan Mott of DocSites. Yeah, almost glitched on that one. And thank you for watching, and look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you.